In today's video, you're going to learn about the MyPlate guidelines and whether they are or are not an effective strategy for weight loss. Let's get to it. While I talk a lot about calorie tracking, macro nutrition, flexible nutrition, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't mean that that's the only strategy out there. Nor does it mean that it's the only strategy that works. It's simply that I prefer it, I find it effective, and it works well for my clients. But there are other strategies out there. And one of those is the MyPlate guidelines or My Portion Plate or Plate Portion Guide or whatever you want to call it. There's different names out there to explain this one. But nonetheless, it's proposed as a strategy for weight loss and weight management. But what is it specifically, and is it actually effective? That's the big question here. My name is Aleksa, I'm a sports dietitian, and today I'm going to explain what this is and whether or not it's a viable fat loss strategy. But first, before I continue, please subscribe, okay? Please hit the bell so you can stay in the loop with all the videos I'm posting. And also, if you haven't already, go check out all the videos I've already posted. I'm sure there's something there to help you out. Anyway, without further ado, here it is. So firstly, what is the MyPlate guide? Well, it's essentially a strategy whereby you're manipulating the type and distribution of the food on your plate to initiate either a fat loss result or maintain your weight, so to speak. In fact, to help illustrate what I'm talking about here, I'm actually got a plate here to show you. So as you can see there, veggies is on this side, proteins and all those kind of meats and stuff is there, and obviously carby, starchy food is there. So as you can see, this is the MyPlate guide. So the basic premise of it is simply, half your plate should be veggies and salads, okay? Quarter of your plate should be meats and proteins and alternatives and those sort of foods. And then a quarter of the plate should be carbs and starchy foods. Okay, what's not on this plate here though is the fatty foods, like your avocados and your nuts and your oils and things of that nature. They generally say that you start off with about a thumb's worth or 2 thumbs worth. That's not on this plate here, but doesn't matter. It's still part of the MyPlate guidelines. And as you can see, that's the strategy that kind of manipulates the type of food that's on your plate to create a calorie deficit or whatever it is you're trying to achieve. But is it effective? Does it have a place? Can it be the strategy for you in place of other things such as macro-based tracking or intuitive eating and all that sort of thing? Or is it actually mediocre at best? Well, here's my professional opinion from having used this, from having been trained in this, and from having my experience as a dietitian, so you know exactly if it's a good strategy for you. It actually is good as a starting point. Okay, so that's a clear thing you got to remember here. I will use this plate with some clients as a starting point, but is it a viable strategy long term? Depends on the person. Generally speaking, it's always going to have a use by date, so to speak, to use food puns here, but it is a good starting point for a lot of people. Because if you're eating a big amount of portions, and if you're eating a heavy meat diet or a heavy carby diet or something of that nature, and you're not eating many vegetables, you're more than likely eating more calories than you should. So by following something like this plate, where you're distributing more so for the, having more veggies and salads, so to speak, less so of this stuff, obviously you potentially are cutting into your calories and creating a deficit. So in that sense, yes, it would be effective. And especially if you're someone who's really unaware of their portions or has struggles with portion control, or you're very new to the nutrition world, then yeah, following this can be a good strategy for you. And it's also good when you're starting out to educate yourself on what, generally speaking, healthy portions are going to look like. Because even within the realm of calorie tracking, generally speaking, you'll probably be aiming for plate portions of this nature, where you are eating more veggies and salads. You're eating a modest serve of meat, a modest serve of carbs, and then obviously you can manipulate this based on your own individual needs. But to educate you and help provide you an idea of what a healthy, balanced proportion is, yes, it can be a good starting point. And like I said, I've used it with clients to get the ball rolling, so to speak, in the past. But, and here's the big but, it's far from being individualized, okay? And eventually, it will stop being effective. It will just stop being enough for most people. Geez, like for some people, it won't even be effective from the get-go, because even though they may be portioning it based on this plate, there's also a gray line there, okay? How much can you pile on? Okay, what is the size of your plate? Okay, are your requirements actually lower than what the plate would even propose? All these things will come into play. And then if as a starting point it's not working, you have to obviously implement other strategies to keep things moving forward. So while the percentages are set, half a plate of veggies, quarter plate of meat, quarter plate of carbs, there's going to be individual variances within that. Okay, like I said, plate sizes, the way you portion, the way you interpret the plate, basically. All these things will play a part in terms of how effective a strategy it is for you. So all in all, I want to end by saying that it is an effective way to bridge the gap, okay? Bridge the gap between starting and getting results, but it's usually not enough to keep getting results in the future, because eventually you need a more individualized, customized, personalized, whatever you want to call it, plan, because that's going to be more tailored to you. It's going to be more specific, more strategic, and more calibrated. So yeah, if you're starting out, maybe tracking is daunting for you, you want to get a good starting point, yeah, perhaps this plate would work. But you got to remember, how effective is it long term? Because that's the key thing here. Weight loss, body composition change, whatever you're trying to achieve yourself, if it's not long-term based, it's not going to be effective overall. And as you can appreciate, you probably don't want weight loss results that are only short-term. You want to keep moving forward so you get the body you feel happier, healthier, and more confident in, but have it for many years to come. So now if you've obviously used the MyPlate portions and you have outlived it, so to speak, where it's not effective anymore, then you've got options there to go from there. Now I'll only cover these very briefly because it's, I could talk about these for ages, but the two different strategies you can then go on from there is obviously the first one is something that's similar in terms of these plate portions, where it's a good kind of ballpark figure guidelines, but it's a lot more individualized and I prefer it myself. It's using your hands, okay? So let's say that you are someone who's got bigger hands, you're a bigger sized person compared to someone who's smaller, you have smaller hands. Therefore, if you go palm size of meat, for you, if you're bigger, that's going to be more comparable to you individually than if someone who's smaller doing the same thing, they'll have a smaller amount. Whereas plate portions can be the same for everyone. So that's something you got to remember. So hand portions, fist size worth, cupped hands worth, palm size worth, thumbs worth. These things are a lot more an effective strategy and can help transition you from the plate portion to a more individualized approach later on, or you can even start there at the first place. And then the second thing obviously is the flexible macro approach that I implement with myself, with my clients to get good results. Now I've talked about this in the past heaps, but generally speaking, you are tracking calories, tracking macros within a flexible framework, and some, obviously working on your behaviors and, emotional eating, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you have a good relationship with food so you can get results long term with maximal flexibility, no restriction, but still get results. So it's good stuff. If you want more information about this, reach out to me and we'll chat. So there you go. Now, hopefully you understand what the plate portion guide is. Hopefully now you've kind of got an idea if it's good for you, if it's right for you, if it's something you want to implement. And obviously now, hopefully you've got an idea of when it actually needs to move on and when you actually have to go for more detailed strategies. All in all, they're good as a starting point for many people, but perhaps not for you. And even if so, eventually you have to transition to a different strategy. So comment below, okay? Comment below what your thoughts are on the MyPlate guide. Have you used it before? If you have, was it effective? Was it not effective? Share your thoughts. I want to know your experiences with the MyPlate guide below. And of course, if you got any questions, please leave them in the comment below, or alternatively, shoot an email, okay? Shoot an email straight to me. I'll personally respond to it, okay? I'll have the email here for you so you know exactly how to spell it, so you can send me an email, we get chatting and help you out with any inquiries you may have about this topic or nutrition in general. And please share with family and friends. I'm sure others like you want to learn about this topic. So share this, share this video, share this channel, because I'm sure that my knowledge can help others and I really want to help as many people as possible. Remember to hit the like button. Okay, smash that like button hard. Make sure you like this video. Subscribe if you found this video of value to yourself so you can check out all the videos I have upcoming as well as all the videos I have already released for you. Stay classy. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.